Another useful idea that we can use based on the information and the tools that we've been learning is how do we find the distance between 2 points? And if we're able to map those distances on some type of a grid, like a rectangular coordinate system and whatnot, we're able to find the distance between 2 points, especially if they're not horizontal or vertical. So imagine for you, if you will, that I have my X and my Y axis, which I use to build a coordinate system. And the reason why we're able to build, or the reason why we want to build a coordinate system, it helps us learn to explore and map some geometric figures or paths and whatnot. So I have 1 point that I'm going to designate as some x1, y1. Not sure exactly where it's at. And the reason why we're doing that is because I can build a model for any point that I can define. And then I have some second point, some other point, some x2, y2. So what's the distance between those 2 points? Well, if we can go back and remember our Pythagoras equation, it told us that this distance between the 2 points is this side squared plus that side squared. Well, what is this side? What is this distance here? Well, this distance, this point right there, is x2 and a y1. That's a point that I have right there. So this distance, the height right here, is some y2 minus y1. That's going to be the absolute value of that because I need to have a positive distance. And likewise, the distance between this point and this point, it goes from x1 to x2. So that's going to be some x2 minus x1, some absolute value of that. So I know that I take the distance here, squared it, plus the distance squared there. Well, that's going to equal this distance that I'm wanting to find. So let's set that on up. I know that this side squared, d squared, equals this side. I gotta be careful how to write all these things down. So that side squared plus this side squared. That fits the model. One side squared plus the other side squared equals the distance, or the hypotenuse squared. And now I'm solving for d. I want to know what the value of d is. So I take the square root of both sides. So I have d equals plus or minus the square root of x squared minus x1, sorry, x to the 2 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Since my distances are going to be positive and not negative, I can rule out its negative distance. So I'm just left with its positive distance, or just left with that. And sometimes you might see this written with these two terms mixed around. So d equals y2 minus y1 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared. And then that's how we're able to come up with this distance formula that we can use when we want to find the distance between two particular points.